Okay. Good morning, Madam Rebecca Miano, my cabinet colleague, Your Excellency, the European Union Ambassador to Kenya, Henrietta Geiger, Your Excellencies Ambassadors from the EU member states, honorable members of the European Union Parliament, Committee on Development, with the team leader, Madame Fofana. I hope I've got it right. The chairman of the NDMA board, Mr. Rafael Nzomo, senior government officials, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is a pleasure to join you today during this auspicious occasion of unveiling additional funding from the European Union to Kenya. We are honored to host members of the European Union Parliamentary Committee on Development during their visit to familiarize with the EU development portfolio in Kenya. Your visit is a demonstration of the strong partnership that we continue to have with the European Union. The Union's development assistance to Kenya spans various sectors that include agriculture, resilience building, infrastructure development, public financial management reforms, and support towards alleviation of humanitarian crisis. Excellencies, honorable MPs, ladies and gentlemen, as you are aware, Kenya is susceptible to natural disasters. Droughts, for instance, are becoming increasingly regular as the effects of global climate change become more severe. The economic costs of droughts in Kenya is enormous as they continue to undermine and in some cases reverse our gains. For instance, the 2008 to 2011 drought cost our economy more than $12 billion. To put this into perspective, at that time, that money would have been enough to finance the education and technology budgets of the country for the next 7 years. It is therefore clear that droughts are a major threat to our nation's development. To mitigate the situation, about 38 billion Kenya shillings has been spent on drought mitigation since a national disaster was declared in September 2021. Our development partners and other non-state actors have put in more than $480 million to complement our efforts. These resources would have gone towards building long-term resilience of the affected communities. As you have heard from the Cabinet Secretary, the current drought has left millions of our citizens food insecure. Moreover, we cannot truly say we have left no one is behind when almost 1 million of our children aged below 5 years and more than 100,000 pregnant and breastfeeding women suffer acute malnutrition. I sincerely thank the EU and the individual member states for standing with us during the current drought. Just 2 weeks ago, we received 25,000 metric tons of wheat under the Grain from Ukraine humanitarian initiative. We thank the EU member states that you participated in the purchase of the wheat. However, humanitarian assistance is only a stopgap measure. Our manifesto recognizes that an estimated 2 million households, that is 1 in 6, are food poor. The vast majority of these are farmers. We believe that support to farmers to raise productivity would not only enable them to feed themselves, but also generate a surplus that contributes to national food security and the economy. Some of these farmers are in our arid and semi-arid regions, where the main production systems are livestock keeping and mixed farming. We are therefore taking proactive action to put in place long-term measures that will address the challenges posed by cyclic droughts. For instance, we have committed to build a mixture of 1,000 dams and ponds across the country over the next several years. It's not a one-year program, but it has to be spread out through public-private partnerships to increase food production. In addition, we recognize our responsibility in the global fight against the planetary crisis of climate change, pollution, and loss of nature and biodiversity, which are threatening the well-being and survival of mankind. As a contribution towards reducing greenhouse emissions, stopping and reversing deforestation, and restoring 5.1 million hectares of deforested and degraded landscapes, we have an ambitious plan to plant 15 billion trees in the next 10 years. Understandably, our current economic model is a delicate balancing act